Hello everybody, I'm the Sweeper27 and welcome to another Dokkan battle video. We have another good one for you today. These are my custom concepts for what I think the part 1 LRs could be for the upcoming 9th anniversary on JP. Now, I've seen some debate out there whether or not it's going to be, Gogeta Blue, MUI, what the other one is. I think it's pretty set in stone that we believe that we're getting a Beast Gohan, as you can see here. And then I think the sign is what we will be getting the other LR. And have, it be based around Miraculous Awakening. Mostly because, A, Miraculous Awakening only has one leader, that being AGL MUI Goku. And 2, MUI Goku, Evolution Blue Vegeta, and likely the STR sign Goku are going to be easying during the celebration. So I figured it would make sense to have an all-encompassing leader skill for them. So let's start off with the Beast Gohan, the Pinnacle of Saiyan Rage Gohan Beast. New named LR, by the way. He will be a Super Int LR. He will lead Miraculous Awakening, Exploding Rage, or Bottom Master and Disciple category allies, 170 to stats and 3 keep, and he gets an additional 30% attack and defense to superheroes or hybrid Saiyan. So real quick, let's go check out his leader skill. So as you can see here, we got his leader skill all pulled up, and he has some very relevant and good options. Mainly Orange Piccolo, you're going to be definitely wanting to run him on the team. Future Gohan, top 3 LR in the game. Top 10 LR right here. I would argue top 15 LR right here. I really enjoy this Gohan. I feel like he's really underrated. As I was saying before, MUI and Blue Evolution are probably going to be getting their EZAs this year. As well as I suspect this guy will be. You have this guy who will be very paramount on this team. You'll see why once we kind of get into the passive that I have built for these characters. And then you have a couple of other decent characters. You have Pan. Pan is pretty good to this day, I would argue. You have this guy who will be getting a massive revamp this year with the number of reps of Universe 7 I feel sure are on the way. So yeah, overall very powerful leader skill. It's very LR heavy, but realistically you run this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and him or Vegeta and Trunks, and you have the most powerful team in the game. And real quick before we get into the rest of the passive, 2 quick things I want to say. One, I actually posted the skeleton of these designs on my Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, the link to it is in the description of this video. You can go check me out there. I repost cat videos, I post hot takes, I do all sorts of fun stuff like that. And second off, I know that I said at the end of my last custom Dokkan character video that LR Carnival Nail would be my next one, but I really wanted to capitalize on top of, just because the 9th anniversary is, so close and so, right around the corner, that I really wanted to be, get this video out as soon as possible. So if you guys were really looking forward to Carnival Nail, just hold on a little bit. That video will be coming out very soon. So let's start looking at this guy's super attack. So for his 12 key, it'll be the Soaring Kick, which will raise attack and defense for 1 turn, colossal damage to the enemy, and lowers attack and defense. That's just to give him a little bit more versatility and SPR, battlefield, stuff like that. Just peppering in a little bit of extra usefulness that you can use outside of the most difficult content in the game. Now, this is what we should have gotten last year, the 18 key, the Beast Special Beam Cannon, which will be a Key Blast, greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause mega colossal damage to the enemy. And I know there is some debate in the community whether or not unit super attacks are good or bad. I think as long as they have a good enough option, I don't hate them. And I wanted to give this guy a unit super attack because in Xenoverse 2, this was the hypest moment for me. The Bottom Master and Disciple dual spirit gun special beam cannon was really cool. So the 18 key unit super attack can be performed with a character whose name is Power Awakened Piccolo or Orange Piccolo. Now, I would assume if this guy was the LR, Orange Piccolo would be his sidebanner unit. That is why I added that caveat in there. Or if he doesn't get that, Power Awakened Piccolo would work as well. Again, he's still the best LR in the game even a year later. So you're not going to not want to run Orange Piccolo. But it will now massively raise attack and greatly raise defense. So that's 100% offense, 50% defense boost for 1 turn, mega colossal damage to the enemy, and disables enemy actions once within the turn. So that's what the Beast Gohan Special Beam Cannon does. That's what the 7th anniversary, what they do. Just the very next action the enemy would do gets destroyed. So for his passive, he has the Tranquil Rage. Activates entrance animation upon entering attacking turn, guards all attacks for 3 turns. So that is based off of what Power Awakened Piccolo and Beastless Gohan have. They have conditions to get their guard for 3 turns. This guy just has guard for 3 turns out the gate. He gets 3 key, 258% attack, and 158% defense at the start of turn. He gets 30% damage reduction in slot 1. He gets an additional 30% damage reduction when he performs an 18 key super attack. He gets an additional 1 key up to 3, 20% attack up to 60, and 30% defense up to 90 for each Miraculous Awakening, Exploding Rage, or Bottom Master and Disciple category ally attacking in the same turn, self-excluded. So that is worded the same way as like LR, Kale, and Caulifla, where if you have one unit who fits all 3 of those categories, he would get the full buff right there. The only character who I can think of off the top of my head is like the LR AGL GOHAN, because I'm pretty sure he's on all 3 categories. So if you ran him on the same turn, boom, that right there by itself is filling up the rest of his kit. Or if, you pepper in, Orange Piccolo, that'll be getting Bottom Master and Disciple, and you can do stuff like that, you know what I mean? Very, very good. He gets an additional 100% attack and defense when he performs a super attack. He gets an additional 10% attack and defense for each attack performed up to 100%. That's what Beastless Gohan should have been. He had to do super attacks. This guy just has to do outright attacks. Doesn't matter if they're normals. He launches a guaranteed additional super attack. He launches 2 attacks, each with a medium chance of becoming a super attack when key is 24. All allies get 58% defense for 1 turn after he receives an attack. He gets an additional 158% attack and defense upon receiving 5 attacks. He gets an additional 5% attack and defense with each attack received, up to 58%. And then here's the big thing. He recovers 100% HP and removes all negative status effects upon receiving 10 attacks only once. This is the Sensu Bean effect. And then he also nullifies melee super. So I really want to kind of go into that, the Sensu Bean thing. If an enemy, like, locked, I guess it wouldn't really matter because it would be at the end of the turn, but it would nullify that. Stuns, seals, attack debuffs, defensive debuffs, all of that gets outright removed once this guy gets hit 10 times. Now, that may sound like it's pretty hard to do, but that's where his active skill comes in. We'll get into that in just 1 second. But I feel like overall, his kit is very potent. 30% damage reduction is really good. He's getting a lot of stats. He will build up offensively super easily, because if you get him to 24 key, he will be launching his 18 key super. He'll be launching 2 additionals, each with a 30% chance to be a super. He then launches a guaranteed additional super. And then, if you give him Hit a Potential system, he can do 5 attacks in 1 turn. So that'll halfway build up his offensively, like the offense part of his passive. That'll be an extra 50% attack and defense right there. He's getting massive amounts of stats on his super attack as well. If you do the Bottom Master and Disciple Special Beam Cannon, that's an extra 100% attack and 50% defense. He's going to get to some, like, ridiculous numbers. And then, I know some characters who, like, have to get hit to build up. It's a little bit lame. And I am a firm believer that only 30% damage reduction really is not enough. But if the very first attack, like if Beast Gohan actually gets to super in slot 1, he's going to be untouchable, especially with the nullifications. There are very many characters who do have melee supers. The one that comes to mind is Physical Zamasu in the red zone. That is a type advantage super attack that is just outright nullified. A lot of really potent, powerful stuff like that. But the active skill is Now You Must Face Me. Now, this got revealed on Twitter that there is going to be a new Dokkan ability. What it seems like it will target all the enemy attacks at one specific character. So I put that on both of my characters. So Now You Must Face Me can be activated when HP is 40% or less, or turn 5. So he's kind of like a pseudo revive character, where if you get him in slot 2 or in turn 2, you take a bunch of damage turn 1, you're able to just pop this. He will get hit a ton of times, but you'll guarantee survive the turn, and this is why. So once you activate it, he gets an extra 30% damage reduction for 1 turn. Aim all enemy attacks towards his character, excluding AoEs, because I think that's probably how it's going to work once it actually like gets revealed in the game. I don't think you can make an AoE target him more than once. And then all allies would get 58% attack for 2 turns. That is where this character is really going to get built up the most. Now, a lot of characters will do like 8 to 10 attacks in a turn, but they will spread them out. So, you'll have like 3 attacks in slot 1, 1 attack in slot 2, 4 attacks in slot 3 or whatever. But if you activate this, he's getting hit all of those times, plus he has that extra amount of damage reduction. So, in slot 1, that's 60% damage reduction. Upon performing his 18 key, he now has 90% damage reduction. All of those hits he's going to get really quickly. He has to get hit, like, 12 times to be fully built up, which is a lot. But he's going to get all that. You're going to get a Sensu Bean in the middle of that, so even if there is, like, a dicey situation where, like, if he gets hit 9 times, you're very low, you're on very low HP, he gets hit that 10th time, and then boom, enemy doesn't attack for the rest of the turn, and you're fully healed, ready to go into the next turn. Again, it's like a pseudo revive is what I was kind of going for. And plus, you get some nice offensive support. You're also giving that defensive support, but it's only for one turn, so it doesn't really matter too much. I really like how I built this character, and I really like the links as well. So all in the family is 20% defense, shocking speed is 2 key and 5% defense, over in a flash is 3 key and 7% attack, Brainiacs, which is 15% attack and defense, prepare for battle, which is 2 key and 5% attack and defense, fierce battle, which is 20% attack, and then legendary power, which is 15% attack when performing a super attack. And then he's also just on a billion categories: Miraculous Awakening, Exploding Rage, Bond of Master and Disciple, Superhero, Hybrid Sands, Full Power, Transformation Boost, Movie Hero, Goku Family, Siblings Bond, Connected Hope, Saviors, Battle of Fate, Bond of Parent and Child, Earthbred Fighters, and Legendary Existence. So most of those categories were categories that Beastless Gohan had. I added Miraculous Awakening, Saviors, and Legendary Existence. Added Miraculous Awakening just because it makes sense. It's like the first time we get to see this form. Saviors, a lot of Gohans, Ultimate Gohans, actually have that category. It's a pretty weak category too, so I figured giving them a brand new LR would be a great way to buff the category. And then Legendary Existence is so that he will work with the other LR that we created. So I'm very proud of this. I really hope that this is sort of similar to whatever Beast Gohan we get. I feel like I gave him a lot of respect. This is kind of like what Ultimate Gohan did in the movie. He showed up, he took no damage, he did 1 billion damage, and he was super swaggy while he did it. The Senzu Bean is kind of like an homage to, Ultimate Gohan lost his Senzu Bean right before he fought Cell Max, so I figured, it'd be kind of cool to incorporate that somewhere into the passive. But now we're moving on to MUI Sign. So this is entering the domain of the gods, Goku Ultra Instinct Sign. He will be a Super Tech LR. His leader skill will be Miraculous Awakening, Powerful Comeback, or Legendary Existence. Category allies get 3 key and 170 to stats, plus an additional 30% attack and defense to Reps of Universe 7 or Pure Sand category allies. So let's quickly check out his leader skill. So we now have this leader skill up, and this is probably a more powerful leader skill, I would say, maybe. Mostly that's because just Pure Sands, having that as an extra 30% on all of these is really powerful. You have Birdku, who has kind of fallen off, but he is still very decent in certain circumstances. You have these guys, top 3 LR. This guy, I really thoroughly enjoy him. He's very powerful. He's a great slot 1 option. These guys will be getting their EZA, and again, I expect this guy will be getting an EZA as well. These guys will probably be getting an EZA this year, so that's just another powerful option that would prolong the longevity of this team. You have God Goku, you even have Berserk Kale, 23rd World Tournament Goku, all, again, extremely good options. You even have this God Goku if you want to run him against a movie bosses or a Pure Sand enemy. Again, I went all out for these leader skills. I feel like I did a great job encompassing a powerful team. Now, unfortunately, they aren't on each other's 200%. They are only on the 170. And I think that is the first time since introducing 200% leader skills that is the case. But I didn't want, especially with how powerful these teams are, I did not want to give them a third one. I wanted to be more realistic with the leader skill, because I know with a lot of other custom characters I give them 3 and 3, but I felt like it was more realistic to give them 3 and 2. So now let's check out his super attack. So for his 12 key, he has the perfect movement, which will just be a melee. Greatly raise attack, raise defense for 1 turn and cause colossal damage to the enemy. And then his 18 key is the instinctive Kamehameha, which will greatly raise defense and cause mega colossal damage to the enemy. For his passive, he has the Angelic Rage. I gave them both Rage-esque passives because I felt like it was kind of all-encompassing. So his activates his entrance animation upon entering the attacking turn. He dodges all attacks, including super attacks, for 1 turn, and aims all enemy attacks towards this character, excluding AoEs. So again, how I said that I gave them both that targeting ability. Beast can do it pretty much whenever he wants or whenever the team needs it. This guy's using it turn 1. Now this can either be a blessing or this can be a curse. A lot of characters need to get hit to be built up. Even that Beast that we just made included, he has to be hit to build up. But so many teams struggle on turn 1. Just because, obviously, they need to get built up, whether it be offensively or defensively. So for turn 1, if you get this guy turn 1 slot 1, he will guarantee you will survive that turn unless there were AoEs. Again, that could be a blessing, and because you have a lot of characters that have to build up by doing super attacks or just doing attacks in general, or it could be a curse because you could have Kai Goku on your team, and then he doesn't get any of his hits, and then you enter the next turn, he doesn't have any of his passive built up, and he gets frauded. That is totally possible, but I wanted to include that, and I didn't want to give this guy just the exact same active skill. This is actually a standby unit. As you can see there's no active skill. We will get to that in a minute. So I figured that would be like the best way to incorporate that. So turn 1, excluding AoEs, that way you cannot die on turn 1. He gets 3 ki, 159% attack and defense at the start of turn. He has a great chance to dodge enemy attacks, including super attacks, for character's first 5 turns, and then he has a medium chance to dodge upon entering the next attacking turn, which is a major downgrade, but you'll see why in just a moment. He gets an additional 1 ki up to 3, 30% attack up to 90%, and 20% defense up to 60 for each Miraculous Awakening, Powerful Comeback, or Legendary Existence category ally within the same turn, self-excluded. That is just the exact same that I gave the Beast Gohan, except the offensive and defensive numbers were swapped. He gets more attack and less defense. And it's worded the same way, so if you have a character who is on all 3 categories, that would fully build him up right there. He gets an additional 100% attack and defense when performing a super attack. He launches a additional attack with a 70% chance of becoming a super attack when in slot 1. He's super effective against all types for 1 turn after he evades an attack. And then all allies get 59% defense for 2 turns when 5 or more attacks are dodged. And then he survives a KO attack once only. So the 59% defense for 2 turns, the reason it is a 2-turn buff is if on turn 1, all of those attacks get targeted at him, he's obviously going to dodge more than 5 attacks. But if all the attacks in that turn are targeted at him, if I gave him just 59% defense for 1 turn, it wouldn't mean anything. Again, excluding AoE. So this is to support the next rotation, giving them nearly 60% defense. So that would kind of help that little turn out. And then the survive KO attacks. I wanted to give him something akin to a nullification, but I didn't want to give him like a beam nullification, like when he catches Jiren's big fuck off energy attack. I didn't want to do that. So I figured giving him just a KO survival would be fitting, especially because, you know, sometimes dodge characters, they do fraud you out. So I figured that would just help out there. His links, he has All in the Family, 20% defense, Kamehameha, 10% attack when performing a super attack, Over to Flash, 3 ki and 7% attack, Terminal to Power, 3 ki and 7% attack and defense, Prepared for Battle, 2 ki and 5% attack and defense, Fierce Battle, 20% attack, and then Legendary Power, 15% attack when performing a super attack. Not as good of a link set as the Beast Gohan, but it's still a very powerful link set. It's much more offensively oriented. But yeah, very, very, very powerful, I feel. And then, again, he's also on just a billion categories. Miraculous Awakening, Powerful Comeback, Legendary Existence, Reps of Universe 7, Pure Sands, Realm of God, Universal Survival Saga, Goku Family, Kamehameha, Turtle School, Bond of Friendship, Accelerated Battle, Bond of Parent and Child, Earthbred Fighters, and Tournament Participants. This is actually a buff to, not only Blue Kaioken Goku, but also the Int androids if you wanted to run them, because now you actually have a Goku who you can reliably run in slot 1. But I did say he has a standby, so on his 5th appearance, he's going to lose his 70% chance to dodge. It only becomes 30%, but then you can enter your standby. So this is now Last Hope for Universe 7, Android 17, and Frieza Golden Angel. It's still a Super Tech LR. This standby can be performed on the character's 5th attacking turn. It lasts for 3 turns. The new passive skill is Learning Trust. Unable to attack, change a certain type of key sphere, Tech key sphere excluded, to Rainbow key spheres for 1 turn. They get 77% damage reduction. They lose 30% damage reduction for each turn. That is like the Golden Frieza passive. So the very first time you get this guy, it's 77% damage reduction. The next time you get this guy, he will only have 17% damage reduction because he loses 30%, which is way more than what LR Golden Frieza does. They change a certain type of key sphere, Tech key sphere excluded, to Tech. He gets 17% defense with each key sphere obtained. All allies get 17% defense and chance to crit with 7 or more key sphere obtained, and then they have a medium chance to nullify a beam super attack. So, if you get less than 40 charges, so less than 40 orbs by the time that the standby ends, the standby will just end, you will recover 20% HP, and you will be back with this character. Or, if you're able to get 40 or more charges, they will evolve into Super Saiyan Goku and Angel Frieza. This is a standby that is very similar to the Tanabata Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And then their link sets change quite a bit. They They get Brainiacs, 15% attack and defense, Shocking Speed, which is 2 key and 5% defense, Toughest Nails, 20% defense and 5% damage reduction, Terminator Power, which is 3 key and 7% attack and defense, Solid Support, which is 15% attack and all enemies lose 20% defense, Fierce Battle, which is 20% attack, and Legendary Power, which is 15% attack. They have a lot of attack links, and I know that's a little bit worthless, but I, wanted to stay in tune with the character. A lot of these links, Golden Frieza and 17 actually have their LR, which may or may not EZA during the celebration. So that is why there's that. But if you're able to get 40 charges and transform, you now have a remarkable duo. Super Saiyan Goku and Frieza Final Form Angel. They are still a Super Tech LR. The new 12 key will be Throwing Frieza. I couldn't really think of anything else, so just Goku sliding down a pole, chucking Frieza. Which will be an Other, which will greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn and cause mega colossal damage. And then Trust. This is just like them doing their final barrage against Jiren and then ending with this explosion. Pretty much the same animation that LR, Goku, and Frieza already have, but, and like by now 2024 like level of animation, which would be amazing to see. Massively raise attack and defense for 3 turns and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy. Their new passive is the Miracle of Universe 7. They get 12 key and 259% attack and defense at the start of turn. They dodge all attacks, including supers. They get a guaranteed crit and an additional 259% attack for 1 turn from first appearance. So you end the standby, you get this guy, again, guaranteed dodge, and just doing a ton of damage. This is sort of like the same thing that happens with the S tier Goku, or Gohan and Piccolo. After you revive, you have like the God turn with Gohan the very next turn. They change a certain type of keys for tech keys for excluded to tech. They get 7% damage reduction with each attack performed up to 77%. They get 159% attack when performing a super attack. They launch 2 additionals, each with a high chance to become a super attack. They launch an additional super attack when key is 18 or more, and then they launch an additional super attack when key is 24. So if you get 24 key, they're launching their 18 key. They're launching an additional for being at 24. They're launching an additional for being at 18. They are launching 2 additionals, each with a 50% chance of being a super, and then you could get your hidden potential system. So I know you're getting this super deep into a fight, but you're able to do 6 attacks in 1 turn. They could all be supers. Every enemy in the game is going to die on that turn. And if you do 6 attacks, that is giving them 42% damage reduction. And that can be done on their guaranteed dodge turn. So the turn that they are guaranteed dodging, they do 6 attacks, they have 42% damage reduction. Entering the next attacking turn, they're entering in with a very substantial amount of damage reduction. And then you just do the same amount of damage the next turn. Boom, you're at 77% damage reduction, and you will have probably killed the enemy in that amount of time. Their link sets do change just a little bit more for the final time. Shocking Speed, 2 key and 5% defense. Solid Support, 15% attack, and enemies lose 20% defense. Over to Flash, 3 key and 7% attack. Tournament of Power, which is 3 key and 7% attack and defense. Prepare for Battle, which is 2 key, 5% attack and defense. Fierce Battle, which is 20% attack. And Legendary Power, which is 15% attack when performing a super attack. So there we have it, guys. Those are my concepts for what I think the Miraculous Awakening 9th Anniversary could entail. Let me know, what do you think about these custom characters? Do you think I made them underpowered, overpowered? Would you summon for these guys? Did I make them hype enough? Again, I feel like I really wanted to cover as many bases as possible, and I wanted these characters to feel like how they did watching them in the anime. Like Beast Gohan, I wanted him to feel like this untouchable offensive behemoth, and I wanted, you know, UI to really feel like a dodging unit. Then I wanted you to feel like you were struggling, and then I wanted you to feel the Miracle of Universe 7 when they popped off and really came out. I imagine the animation for this would be the, when Goku is at MUI and it, like, his body rejects it, so, you know, like those purple flashes and he, like, passes out. You could then transfer into these characters being the standby, I feel like could be the animation. And then the animation for this, we all know what it is. It's that glorious 3 minutes of the Jiren versus Android 17 Frieza and Goku fight. We all know what it is. It's amazing. But I'm very proud of all of these kits. I really am proud. I think these are probably, like, across the board, my favorite custom characters I've ever made. So let me know down in the comment section below, what did you think about them? But that is going to be all for this time, guys. I've been TheSweetBro27. I'm a variety Twitch streamer and an up-and-coming YouTuber trying to make it big in the world. I have a Twitter, a Twitch, a TikTok, and a YouTube, which you're watching me on, the links of which can all be found in the description of this video. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, share me around, and leave me a comment. I really do appreciate it when you guys give me all your loving words and your thoughts, so yeah, just let me know. But that is going to be all for this time, guys. So as always, I have been TheSweetBro27, and I am signing off.